The waving pose? What do you struggle with waving? Like people waving up, like with their hands up high? Like, is it like an excited wave? Yeah? Okay, let's try to break it down then. Let's see what might be the struggle with you. I'm kind of what part do you think trips you up? Is it just the hands? And adding your stream at the same time, it's scaring me. Wait, really? What's up, Lotus? My fingers are too long or the thumb is too short. Okay. So for you, it's mostly just proportional, right? Getting the proportions down each time. Okay, so in terms of proportions, right? I think we've talked about this before. When I draw hands, first I don't ever use this box, you know? Like a lot of people do that. I don't do this. I use this shape because your fingers are going to come down into your hand. Like they're going to go down into the wrist, right? So it's going to go good narrow. I use that shape. Sometimes I'll use a circle lately, and I don't know why. You guys might see me do that. You use triangles, do you? Yeah, I mean, I think anything, Siege, I think anything that has that curve too, right? Because, like, do you use an upside down triangle? Doing good, homie. How about you, man? What do you get up to tonight? Okay, so yeah, so Siege is saying he uses triangles, right? So, like, to me, that's the first thing. Is, like, what shape are we using as the base of the hand? The second thing with that is when I break that hand shape down, when I'm curving it inward, what a lot of people don't realize is that there's almost this hinge towards the top of the hand, and this is where you're kind of like the wrinkles and stuff. No, step in, dude. Step in if you want to step in. And this is kind of like the hinge. So imagine there's like the door hinge, you know, and then this is the rest of your hand. Palm's gonna be a little bit fat, right? So there's this little hinge here. This is actually where your hand bends. It does not bend up here where the fingers are. That's what a lot of people think. Your fingers actually sit down in here. Even if this is from the front, we're looking at the fat part of the palm. We're looking at that thumb, right? And this is like that part with the pinky. Right? This is a really shitty hand, but just to show you where the knuckles are. The knuckles are kind of like right in here, right? They're not up here. They sit within that hinge. You use circles for joints? Yeah, I use the circles, or like even almost like these curves, right? Sort of like these diamond shapes. So your hinge on your hand. Anyways, this kind of helps you measure, right? So like, just strictly proportional, middle finger, you can really divide up math a lot with your proportions. So you notice the thumb kind of goes a little bit past this first knuckle. It can kind of come a little bit up here, right? But there's a lot of math once we figure that out. So from the start, back to the start, I mean, we get our shape. It kind of curves back. We mark out where that hinge is. It's about a third. Then we double this. We double the length of the palm usually. That's going to be where the middle finger usually goes up to. Then that kind of fans down, right? So ring finger and pointer finger are usually about the same height. Pinky is going to be lower. Thumb is going to come up to about that, a little bit before that first knuckle, right? On the pointer. So it's just really dividing stuff, right? So our big units of measurement here are 1 palm is equal to 1 finger length, right? Where those first wrinkles go, that's that hinge, that's about 1/3. Then each hand we can divide in half. So when we divide those about in half, then we take that second measurement, the second part, we divide that in half again, right? So this is going to be your first knuckle, this is going to be your second knuckle. Or these are your big knuckles are down here, but I'm on the finger, right? Those bends. And it's really just dividing stuff in half. It doesn't have to be exactly right. This is just simple measurements. It's just you're really just doubling stuff and dividing stuff. So like from the side, we get about 1/3 down, and that's where our bend is at. Thumb comes about to the top of that, where those knuckles are going to be. We double the palm, and that's the top of our middle finger. Then we divide our other fingers in half. And that's our first knuckle. Divide that top part in half, that's our second knuckle, right? Somebody can you guys can clip this if you want, by the way. I know this is a lot of information and stuff. But hands are really fucking tricky. But with hands, it's just a lot of just measuring. Generally, with all proportions, it's a lot of measuring. But you have to spend time kind of figuring that out, right? But basically, you just do your palm, measure that up. That's, to the top of your middle finger. Whole finger cut in half. That's your first knuckle. Cut that in half. That's your second knuckle. Thumb kind of comes up to the top of the palm. And then, like I said, that hinge, that bend, is about 1/3 of the way up. Palms, yeah, so just double, right? That's a simple way to do it. I mean, it's not exactly precise, but everything is in these golden ratio type of things. Sometimes you see it different than with the pick you take. Yeah, that's a really good piece of advice. Yo, Chef, what up, homie? How you doing? How's your night going? Yeah, it's gonna be about the same length, right? And like they said, these don't have to be super precise. They just have to look good to the eye at a glance, right? I don't sit there and measure these things out. Like, I literally just kind of eyeball at this point. So like when you're drawing a finger from the front, also kind of notice how it gets fatter. It starts thin towards the end and gets fatter towards that first knuckle, and then goes back to thin. But that's kind of where you know to get fat is towards the half mark, and then go back up towards the taper at the end, right? Pretty much non-stop drawing since last. Dude, no shit. What are you working on? That's really good, though. So yeah, I hope that kind of helped out a little bit.